Key to a Successful Marriage Life by Olumba Olumba Obu and narrated by Neal Zurkowski.
Any husband who hasn't had Christ is useless. In a house where the man is useless is good for nothing. Before now you were saying, "Someone has spoiled my house," but now you have seen that by telling lies to your wife, causing division in anything with her, and by not loving her as you should, you are the sole cause of unhappiness in your home. Accept Christ as the head of your house. Otherwise, you are ruined already. If you do not love your wife, you cannot do the work of God, and God cannot give you God-fearing children. You cannot have any good thing in life. Because you cast your wife out, you have cast out Christ and all good things. If you desert her and sleep in some corner in the town, you have deserted Christ. You have exposed her to the dangers of death. You have crucified Christ a second time. You are a murderer. Cain was asked by God, "Man, where is thy brother?" On the judgment day the husband will be asked, "Man, where is thy wife?" How will you be saved if you are a bad husband? To be a good husband or good shepherd, you need no money, drink, or medicine as you need Christ. You should use Christ's instructions to keep your family away from sin, or else their sins will be counted against you. Christ is calling upon all husbands to come and learn of Him, how to care for the flock and lay down their lives for them, how to love them and have peace and life eternal. Christ is calling all men to start rolling on Jesus' feet, and receiving instructions from Him is to start being a good enough husband. The husband's love for his wife must be reciprocated. Therefore, not only the husband needs Christ, but the wife also should be a good Christian. She should take Christ's instructions. We will now look at the second Bible lesson, which comes from Colossians 3:18. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husband, as it is fit in the Lord. Dear brethren, have you seen another problem? Wives. And you wives, who have quarreled with your husbands before coming to church today, had you not told him when you parted in discord that you would be better off parted with the foolish man, but you will never part with your God? And are you sure that you have not parted with your God already? Does a wife who does not submit to her husband remain with God any longer? It does not matter whether you are a millionaire while your husband is a pauper. You must submit to him, and of course, through you, your husband should rise and be the same millionaire that you are. He should be what you are, and more. He should always be your husband, and you, his wife, submitting to him in all respects. Why then should a woman take her money to a nearby relation to keep for her? Why should that distant brother be the keeper of her money while her husband is ignorant of the whole affair? Who authorizes the woman to claim that she has bought this pot or that knife for her husband, or that she brought these things from her parents' house? In fact, the wife has nothing of her own. All she has belongs to the husband also. From the day your husband takes you away from your parents, with all your knowledge and beauty from head to toe, with all your vices and virtue, you belong to him, all in all. It becomes your bounden duty to take his instructions. If you cling to your old habits without allowing them to be modified or eradicated by him, you are exposed to danger. Any woman who considers it difficult to regard her husband as her own father had better stay back a spinster, for she cannot be a housewife. But today, who among black and white women will not throw back 5 for one word of rebuke from the husband? How many women abide by the advice of their husbands? How many regard their husbands as their lords? Apart from Christ, the wife has no other king than her husband. The parents are not as important to the woman as her husband. Any woman, whether black or white, who respects her husband, respects Christ. And any woman who submits to her husband submits to Christ. Why then should women who are married wear their marriage rings to go and mess up with other men. I wonder why such a woman should be called human beings any longer. All your body belongs to your husband exclusively. Even you have no right to converse with another man on the road without the permission of your husband. You have no power of your own. You have no right to wear anything you like or to appear anyhow or in any fashion your husband does not approve of. You are not permitted to plan or think differently from your husband. It is a sin for you to give anyone a penny without the permission of your husband. You are not permitted to argue with him. As the heaven is high above the earth, so is the man's wisdom above that of the woman. Some women assume too much for the fact that some of them are queens or ministers or prime ministers. All these are meant to be controlled by men, their position notwithstanding. Education has nothing to do in marriage. Money does not give a woman a mandate to be above her husband. Nothing does. There is another set of women who want to live a free life and hope to succeed more by having men they simply call husband. They therefore use their money to engage poor, simple men whom they hope to control with the influence of money favor. This is a grievous sin for any woman to commit. It does not show the wife's submission to the husband and is not conducive to love and a happy marriage. There are others who think that they can desert their husbands at any time they like and take up new husbands. Some divorce their husbands and go to stay where they call convenient home. And you foolish woman, where do you want to go? Where your husband stays is your town and your home. It is your heaven. From the day your parents surrendered you to a man in marriage, your parents and relations have no right over you. But your husband has every right over you. Women should know that God uses their husbands to test whether they can serve Him. Give him food and clothes, because something done by the husband to the wife is something done to Christ. You should be like a loving child to your husband. Nothing else should concern the wife than her husband. A woman has no other business than her husband. To be a judge is nothing to her. To be a queen is nothing to her. The glory of a woman is her husband. He is her sole business. If your husband is not asleep, you should not sleep. It is your duty to watch with him. When necessary, you should watch over him. When your husband is ill, you are ill with him. His health is your health, and as the church submits unto Christ, so all women are supposed to submit to their husbands. Any woman who refuses to do this has direct punishment from God. We will now look at the golden text, which comes from 1 Peter 3, verse 8. Finally, be ye all of one mind, having compassion one of another, love as brethren, be pitiful, be courteous. The love we have for our wives should be full of humility and sympathy and peace. These qualities should mark our conversations and actions towards them. Your joy and sorrows should be shared in the spirit of love and oneness. Your parents-in-law are also your parents. A husband should not do anything without seeking the mutual consent of his wife. Christ cannot dwell where there is a division, but where both couples are united and surrender themselves to the will of God, Christ is their bridegroom and is ready to provide their temporal and spiritual needs, and they are merely brother and sister. That is why we say that in the strict sense of the word, no man should be called a husband. Christ alone is a husband, while husband and wife are brother and sister. Therefore, there must be Christ in every happy home. There must be singleness of mind, compassion, love, and pity between husband and wife. Any person who cannot take care of his house cannot take care of the house of God. Whoever prays for a successful marriage life, happy home, children of promise, should take this gospel as the only condition. Those who have ears to hear, let them hear. May the Lord bless the preaching of His holy word. Amen.